Hello, hello. I think I'm live now. So, here's the thing. I forgot to write an intro. I forgot to create an intro to today. I need like a generic intro that's not for a Q&A, so that I have a little bit of extra time to like share it. There's all of these things that I kind of do behind the scenes. So, I'm going to do that really quick. Bam and bam. Now I need to just tag everybody in the post. Hi, welcome. Let me know if you're here. Hello, hello. Yeah, so anyway, I didn't have a little video to play. Hi Sage, how are you? I didn't have a little intro video to play to give me a little bit of time to do some of the back of things. So if you're popping in and you're joining us, please just share where you're from. Send a little hello. If you're watching the replay, let us know that you're watching the replay. All I've got to do is tag everybody in these posts, and then we will be off and going. So how are you guys doing today? Hello, hello. All right. Unusually sleepy Sage. It's so good to see you. How have you been? All right. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sunny Sink, and I'm the owner and founder of the High Priestess Tarot School, Tarot Practice Academy, and Magic and Intuition Mastery. I'm so excited to be here today. We're going to be talking about intuition. Hi, Kiki. How's it going? So we're going to talk a little bit about things that help you strengthen your intuition. Then I'm going to be talking about specific practical steps that you can take while you're doing your reading to add intuition to your reading. And I'm so excited to get into it. We'll have a little bit of time for Q&A as well. Feel free to ask any questions along the way. I actually really like these lives to be very interactive. So, hi, Gary. How are you doing? So, when it comes to intuition, how do you feel about your ability to add intuition into your readings? Oh, I'm so glad you're feeling good now, Sage. Hi, Sarah. Welcome in. Okay, so let's talk a little bit first before we get into like the nuts and bolts over adding intuition into your readings. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that just help us increase and strengthen in our intuition. Hi, Vicky. I think for a lot of people, and I think even for me, I thought of intuition as something that was like unlocked, like opened up, like you just trust it and automatically it's this like flow of insights. And while you can have really fast results with your intuition, for me, it always kind of felt like a slow leaning into my intuition. So my intuition journey actually started back in 2016 when I started intuitive eating. I had recognized that I had a bad relationship with my body, and so I started a intuitive eating regimen. And it was through that I started to learn how to listen to my body and to learn to listen to myself. And then, over time, I feel like other parts of intuition started to step in. I also started meditating right at that time as well. I was doing daily meditations. And so I think that really helped. So I think that there's a lot of intuitive practices that when you start to lean into them and you start to learn from them, you start to open up to some of those intuitive insights just as a result of, using some of those, hi Nan, using some of those intuitive exercises. And so I think intuitive exercises can be really powerful. So some examples of that could be intuitive eating. Another example could be meditation, mindfulness. Another example could be automatic writing, tarot reading. is one. And so there's a lot of different things that we can do to actually strengthen our intuition. And so I'm wondering, is there anybody here who has a daily mindfulness practice? I think for a lot of people, a daily mindfulness practice means sitting in a dark room with your eyes closed, meditating for 30 minutes a day. And I think for them, it just feels like way too much. And I know that I don't think I could sit and meditate with my eyes closed in a dark room for half an hour every day. So I'm curious, what is mindfulness practice or meditation practice to you? Hi, Haya. How's it going? So it was actually in 2021 that I started my daily Tik-Tok. I stopped sometime, I think at the end of last year, but I used to go live every single morning on Tik-Tok, and we would do 10 minutes of meditation. We would do mindfulness meditation, and then I'd pull free cards for everybody. Wonderful. And so that started my daily mindfulness practice in a way that lasted even till now. And it's really just as simple as being mindful. Hi, Rebecca. So the mindfulness practice that I taught on the morning live is just all about being present. So you can have your eyes open, you can be doing something. It's all about like being plugged in to that present moment. So what are you smelling right now? What are you feeling right now? Concentrating on the breath can really help with this as well, because we get the bodily sensations, and it also helps us with resetting our nervous system when we focus on the breath. So I think focusing on the breath is one of the most important things. We would have a lot of people count their conscious breaths during the 10 minutes of the live, and that was really interesting. When I did my own counting, I was able to get around 80 some breaths in, and I counted all of them in about 10 minutes. Also, my 10 minutes wasn't timed. So sometimes it was 9, sometimes it was 11. I just checked the time and then I added 10 minutes. So it wasn't an exact 10 minutes every time. Oh, I'm so glad you did, Sage. It was so fun. Oh, to me, it's getting grounded, listening to music. Yes, we would definitely have some nice, relaxing music in our lives as well. Hi, Jay. Welcome. So happy to see you. All right. So all of that to say, your meditation practice doesn't have to be sitting in a room, a dark room for 30 minutes without being distracted with your eyes closed. How many people like don't have undistracted time? Like maybe you've got a family or kids or pets or whatever. The cool thing about this method of just being in the present moment is all of those distractions exist in the present moment. And so you can actually use them to help you go deeper into that present moment. So yeah, so there's a siren going off. You can listen to the siren. You can listen to the changing in tones. You can listen to it get closer or get farther away. So you can actually allow these distractions to be a part of that present moment and to be a part of your mindfulness practice instead of feeling like you need absolute quiet. And also, another thing too, I think a lot of people think that they need to clear their minds. I was reading Timber Hawkeye's Faithfully Religionless. It's such a great book. I actually really, really love his Buddhist Boot Camp, which is his first book. And he was a monk. Timber Hawkeye was in a monastery for, I think, years. And he literally says in this book, meditation isn't about clearing your mind. And so I love that. So that's one thing about meditation. You don't need to sit in a quiet room. You can be plugged into the present moment. How many of you guys practice present mindfulness? Another thing that you can do for intuition is journaling. So tarot can be a really great mix when it comes to journaling. When you're doing a 1-card pull or a 3-card pull, how can you take it and make it even deeper? Can you journal on each of the cards? Can you journal about how that card is relevant to you to go even deeper into that? When it comes to intuition is creativity. It comes from creativity. And so the more creative we can be in our in our interpretations, the more creative that we can be with our journaling or with our mindfulness practice. We could even do a creative task. Opening up that creativity can really help intuition come in as well. Hi, Nona. Hi, Leanne. You do every day, Rebecca? Yeah, even 5 minutes every day for a mindfulness practice is going to help have your intuition come through easier. To me, I feel clearer. Everything in my life feels clearer when I have a daily mindfulness practice. And so you have that sense of clarity. You're able to make better decisions. You're able to make decisions from a more calm sort of place instead of feeling really chaotic and everything is going on and everything is happening. And like I feel like when I wasn't meditating, I was always in the middle of something, in the middle of some sort of thing. Whereas now I have more times of just being. I guess it's a difference between doing and being, right? And so the more being we can have, the more time that we can be in that present moment, the more the intuition is available to us. It's always there, but we're actually quiet and listening for it, right? Okay, so journaling is a great way. Like I said, you can journal on your cards, you can journal on whatever's going on in your life. You can use guided journal prompts. I think that's a really great way to kind of get outside of your box. Just like tarot, journaling is keeping us in our little comfort zone. So our world, right? We have this world, this little comfort zone, the way we typically think about things, the way we typically do things, what we typically think about. And when we find tarot spreads or guided journals, you can use a tarot spread as a journal too, guys, by the way. I don't know if any of you guys have tried that, but you can. Without the tarot, you can just journal on the questions. You can journal on them with the tarot cards. But what those do, using these really great guided spreads and questions and prompts, is it gets you out of your own world and into something that you may not have thought about had you not participated in that question. And so guided journals are really good for this. You can get journal questions from ChatGPT that are relevant to you and your situation and your goals and your growth and things like that as well. So journaling is great. And like I said, it can be added into your tarot. I do a 5-minute meditation and then do a card pull with journaling. It helps me feel more ready for the day. Amazing. Do you feel clearer too during the day after that practice, Rebecca? Nan, I like the idea of writing how my tarot cards are relevant to myself. Yeah, it's like adding the tarot and it's adding more creativity and intuition into it. It's a really great practice. Gardening. Yes, that's the creativity, right? The connection to the earth, the connection to your creativity, doing something with your hands, but like still being in the present moment. Listening to the clock in the living room, meditating. I love that. Sometimes when I'm meditating, I like to look at my cat's whiskers. Yes, I love it. Okay, a daily card draw could be a really great way to get into that intuition. A 1-card pull every day where you are not only looking at the book meaning of the card, but walking through the process that we're going to be going through today. Great ideas, guys. I love them. I do one every day, almost a 5-minute grounding meditation and a card pull. I love that. Some other mindfulness practices are mindful coloring. I really love to mindfully color. I have some coloring pages too that I've created. I've got court cards coloring pages, major arcana coloring pages. I have some mindfulness coloring pages in Magic and Intuition Mastery that are kind of mandalas. I think that could be really nice. Like I said, like anything creative. So if you're looking for intuitive insights and you've been feeling a little bit blocked, to do something artistic or creative to kind of get into that side of your brain can be really magical. So before I even created Cosmic Expansion, which was my last membership that's now retired, I actually was doing bullet journaling every single Sunday, and I felt like I got so many great ideas at that time when I was doing it all the time. Oh, you like coloring too? Yes. And then when you're coloring something like the Major Arcana coloring book or the Court Cards coloring book, you're actually kind of connecting in with that card in addition to, like my coloring books, they have keywords, obviously. Those of you who know, know me and my keywords. And so you're kind of connecting in with the keywords, you're connecting in with the figure in the coloring book, and you're also getting on that side of your brain. And so the creative thinking flows while you're doing that. All right. So anything else before we move on? I think I was going to say too, like automatic writing. Has anybody tried automatic writing? This is when you ask a question and then you close your eyes. You can write with your left hand. That's how I learned it for the first time. Like you close your eyes, you ask the question, and then you write with your left hand. Whatever comes up, you just trust it and you write it. And I channel so well that I just use my right hand. The first time I used my left hand and it didn't feel right to me, so I just used my right. But it's just all about like letting a message come through. That's a really good practice as well. Oh, I love mindful color. Yes. Oh, I do monthly scrapbooking page, thinking about what I have done that past month. That's amazing. Yeah, that's so fun. That's so fun. I tried scrapbooking and it's actually not super dissimilar from bullet journaling, I think. Maybe a little more layers. A lot of bullet journal pages are scrapbooky, aren't they? Yeah, so all of those things are good ways to get that intuition flowing, get that intuition going. Let's go ahead and pop into the reading reflection form. So I created this form to help people when it came to reading with spreads or reading with one card pulls, because for a lot of people I was noticing that they were having a hard time like attaching the question and the card together, being able to tell that story. And so I found a few practical things that really help with that and helps to add intuition into it as well. All right, so I'm just going to walk you through this form real quick. So by the way, if you guys want this guide, this is my Intuitive Tarot Made Easy. All you have to do is drop a red heart in the chat and I will get you the guide. If you're with us on YouTube, you'll just want to email me, sunny@sunnysync.com. Let me know that you saw this video and that you'd like the guide, and I'll send it over to you. I don't think I can send things on YouTube, but pop a red heart in the chat, and I'll get this to you. Okay, so with this reading reflection, the first thing you're going to do is take a couple deep breaths. I really like that it has on here a reminder to get in that present moment, to get grounded. This is really helpful to help, just get that like calmness going. So many of the times we're like running and doing all the things. And if you sit down to do your tarot reading and you're still in that sort of fight or flight when it comes to your nervous system, it's going to be harder for intuitive insights to come in. So give yourself a few minutes, use some room spray, light a candle, light an incense, take a couple nice deep breaths. If you're sitting in a chair, make sure you plant your feet on the floor so that you feel really nice and grounded. So just practice the present moment thing that I was talking about, just concentrating on the breath, concentrating on the things around you. What are the sounds that you're hearing? What are the things that you can see around you? It doesn't have to be long, but you should start to feel like this sense of calm. Look at all these red hearts, guys. You got it. Okay, so after that, you're going to decide on a question and then pull your cards. So I personally think that if you are just learning tarot, you should have a question for each card. Otherwise, it can get a little more difficult, but you can try anything, right? Play around with it, try whatever feels right for you. And this has actually been designed so that you can put as many cards in here as possible. And then in this like gray space, I like to put the book meaning of each card. So you're going to just kind of jot down the book meaning, maybe your keyword, maybe what's your experience with that card, how is it that you typically read it. If you have a guidebook and you don't have keywords, maybe just asking yourself, like, if I could sum up this description or what stands out to me, even that can be really helpful. I definitely recommend working on card meanings before seriously working on intuition, because remember how I was talking about that part of the brain? I think it's the left part of the brain that's like logical and the right part of the brain is artistic. Well, when you're trying to figure out a card meaning, you're in the logical part of the brain. And it's hard to switch over to that other side of the brain while you're trying to figure out the meanings, right? So I definitely invite you to play with this. But really, your first thing that you're going to want to get really real on is the meanings. This is the first step, and that way you can get out of your head. So once you have your keywords on your study deck, you can get out of that logical side of the brain and into the more creative side of the brain and use the keyword as a jumping off point. So if you have keywords, just jot down your keyword here, jot down whatever you know the book meaning to that card is. And then this is where the intuition comes in, right? So what are the imagery and the symbols in the card? Do we want to do like a little demonstration, guys? I have my cards over here. Let's get a card out so we can look at it. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so imagery and symbols, right? Let me remove this. Let me make this my solo. You guys will have to let me know. Can you still hear me? Okay, so imagery and symbols is the one that we're on right now. Let's just pull a card. Are you guys okay with this deck, this Oak, Ash, and Thorn deck? It's cute. Okay, so this is the 10 of Wands. So first, in that blue section or that gray section, we would put down, what do we know about the 10 of Wands? 2 of Wands. I was like, that doesn't look like a 10 of Wands. Okay, so a 2 of Wands, my keyword for that's planning, right? So the 2 of Wands is making a plan. That would be kind of like how I would sum it up as to the book meaning. So now we're looking at the imagery and the symbols. What do we see here? I definitely see like these cherry blossoms, which I think is a symbol for new beginnings. We do see the 2 wands here, and we do see this fox looking out into the vast expanse, which I think is really common in the 2 of Wands, of like looking out and creating this plan for the future, like allowing yourself to see a big vision of what you want so that you could really, really narrow down that plan. And so just kind of looking at those imagery and symbols. Are there any that I missed that you guys are seeing? Thank you, Sarah. Any other symbols that I might be missing? Okay, and then after you're done with the imagery and the symbols, we're going to go on to initial impressions. So you might write down here the images and the symbols that you got, and then we're going to think about initial impressions. So what are your initial impressions when looking at this card? And what's cool about this is, for the most part, all of tarot decks are going to have slightly different images and symbols and emotional connection. So you can have a very different intuitive reading with a Two of Wands from this deck versus one of your other decks. I love that, calm. Yes. And I love that, Rooted Mystic. If you want to remind me of your name, I can call you by your first name. But when I think about making a plan, it needs to be from a calm state, right? I like that. Thinking, yep, very ponderous. I love that. Wolf is thinking, yes. He looks like he's looking for something. Yeah. Great job, guys. And then a lot of you, I bet, resonate with being an empath. Let me know in the chat if you resonate with the word empath. So empaths feel energy from other people and things, by the way. And so here, what we're going to want to do is empathically feel into the card. So yes, the emotions and feelings come up, but also like reaching to that card to pull out that energy, like to feel into the energy of the card. I'm going to put it back on the screen again. And I want you to tell me your emotions and feelings with this card. Dreaming. Yes, I love that, Vicky. I definitely feel like dreaming is a part of the Two of Wands. Because you also have to remember that the wands are about passion, creation. So we're dreaming of a new creation and we're trying to figure out exactly what we're going to create, right? I know it's not a sad card, but it gives me a sad feeling. Mm-hmm. And that's something really, really interesting to jot down when that happens, because sometimes that sad feeling can become coming from like a reversal, right? Like feeling like we haven't made a plan yet. So if you're getting a sad feeling from that card, maybe the interpretation isn't that I'm sad that I haven't made a plan yet. I have this dream, I have this passion, but I haven't made a plan for it yet. So maybe you feel really excited, and that's an invitation to like use that passion and excitement to make a plan. And if you feel sad, that could be like, hey, I'm feeling a little out of alignment because I haven't made a plan for this yet. So that feeling won't be the same every single time you pull the card, because it's based on a context of the question, right? And your current mindset at the time that you pull it. Also, if you're reading for someone else, it could have the feeling that you get could be their reflection of that card on what they're asking about. So you can pull the same card multiple times and feel something different. A longing. Mm-hmm. Carrie saw sadness too. Serene, calm, peaceful. Great job, guys. So all of this is your intuitive interpretation. So here we've got our book interpretation. Here we've got some intuitive interpretations. And you get to choose. You can choose just the book meaning. You can choose just the intuitive meaning. You can somehow try to mix them together in your interpretation. Both are perfectly fine. If you just want to look at the keyword that you use, so for me, planning, maybe I'm just going to go off the keyword. This card is all about planning. You're being invited to make a plan. You have this passion. It's time to make a plan. Maybe I feel something. Maybe I feel something that doesn't feel like that. Maybe I'm feeling sad and I'm like, have you been sad that you haven't, put any action on this creative pursuit? And then my client and I will talk about that sadness. We'll talk about, okay, like what's it going to take to put action to that, right? So you get to choose what your interpretation comes from. It can be one thing. It can be a mixture of all of them. And then lastly, I think that this is especially important when we're talking about spreads and spread questions. I feel like a lot of times we want the card to directly answer the question, but for a lot of times it's actually more of a clue to push you in that direction. And this is where that creativity comes in. This is where being flexible and creative when it comes to your interpretation can be really important. The river is smooth. It is. Yeah, this is awesome. Sarah said the river is smooth. And I like that because a A choppy river might be, really emotional. It might be intuitive disturbance, right? But a calm water, a smooth water is a calm water. I love that. Hmm. Okay, so we didn't ask a spread question this time, so it's not really relevant. But this is actually where I put my interpretation, guys, my full interpretation. And then the last one, action advice, how to apply this to my daily life. I feel like this is a part that we tend to forget about. This is like a part of a tarot reading that a lot of times we kind of fall short. We're like, oh, I just got this great insight, and now I'm going to go about my day. And you might remember it, like, knowing is half the battle, right? Having that insight. But if you're somebody who's had a certain insight over and over and over, and you haven't done anything about it, it's because you're missing this step right here. So I advise to make a little step that you can do today, right? So, like, let's say this is about planning. Maybe this is all about, okay, I'm going to write a checklist for the steps that I needed to take with this goal or this dream. Maybe it's not even all the steps. Maybe it's the first 3 steps that I need for this goal or dream. And so you sit down, you write down the first 3 steps, and then you're done for the day. Right? So if you find yourself spinning your wheels when it comes to a problem, an aha that hasn't been acted on, a lot of times it's just because we're trying the same thing or we're not doing anything at all with that insight. So try different things each time. Even if you get the same insight over and over, if you're trying different things, you're going to get different results. So yeah, keep staying the course and keep trying different things. Action is a huge part of the manifestation process. Okay, guys, there's a few more pages here. You guys will see it. Go ahead and drop a red heart if you want to receive this. If you already did, you don't need to. I will get that later today. But do you guys have any questions? I thought that it would be really nice to show you guys some like actionable, practical things that could help you add intuition into your reading. I think that sometimes it's easy to think of intuition as this airy fairy boohoo sort of magical thing, which it is magic, but it also has practical application, and we can connect with it very practically. What deck is that card from? It is the Oak, Ash, and Thorn deck. It's specifically the mini deck, but they're the same. It's just a smaller card. Yep, you can watch the replay for this, Stevie. Any other questions, guys? Anything goes, tarot, intuition, anything you'd like? You're so welcome, Stevie. Thanks for being here with me, guys. So the replay, Nikki, will be in lots of different spots, actually. Wherever you're watching this, it's going to be there. But you'll find it in the Learn Tarot and Magic group. You'll find it in the High Priestess Tarot School group on YouTube and on my business page, High Priestess Tarot School. You're so welcome, guys. Any other questions? You're welcome, Nikki. I started 1 card a day and pulled the Page of Pentacle twice. I have to revisit and decide what I missed. You don't necessarily have to do that, Nona. Just journal on the card. So when you pulled the card, did you come up with an action step? Did you decide what the message was that card was trying to tell you? What was the question that you asked before pulling the card both times? The Page of Pentacles is definitely about like determination, slow moving, patience, one step after the other. So when it comes to a manifestation, which is what the pentacles are all about, is like bringing something physical into the world. It's all about steady progress. So it could be an invitation to take a step. It could be an invitation to slow down and take it step by step. It could be an invitation for patience when it comes to that manifestation, if you were pulling it. And are you pulling like a card for a certain manifestation over and over? Because that could also be a bit of a sign of impatience with that manifestation. And so it could be saying like, hey, be patient. You've got this. Just keep taking steps. You're so welcome, Sarah. I'm so glad you're here with us. What do I need to know for today? Yeah. And part of it too is asking more questions. If you're asking the same question over and over and over, it's very likely that you'll get the same card over and over and over. So asking really good questions is great too. So Nona, did you see my 225 power questions? If you go back to the last video that I made on my YouTube, the last live, I talk all about the 225 power questions, and these would be really, really helpful to ask different questions every day. Awesome, Vicky. Oh, Sarah, I'm not seeing you in the chat, but I see you in the actual group. Oh, I love that, Sarah. Let me see if I've gotten any comments in the High Priestess Tarot School real quick before I wrap up. Any other questions, guys, before we wrap up? You're so welcome, Nona. Awesome, Sarah. You know, I meant to ask in the High Priestess Tarot School group if you guys went through the 225 Power Questions training, and I accidentally put it in the Tarot Practice Academy group. So I will post it over in the High Priestess Tarot School group too, because I can't wait to see how it goes for you when you practice the training that I've dropped in the membership. Oh, I always have problems thinking of questions. I love the questions she came up with. Awesome. I'm so glad you love them. There's a lot. There's 225. So they're actually lumped into specific categories. So if you're working on a special category, you can kind of stick with those. Oh, you have the tarot keywords too. Awesome. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to wrap up. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will see you again soon. Bye.